You ever wake up one morning thinking it's going to be quiet, coffee, birds, a slow start, and then suddenly find yourself in a full-blown war with your entire neighborhood? Yeah, that was me. My name's Mark Dalton, and the day this started, I was just hammering a private property sign into the ground by an old oak tree my granddad planted in 1964. The air smelled like wet pine and cheap lawn fertilizer. Then I heard it, heels clicking like gunshots across the sidewalk, and there she was. Donna Reynolds, president of the Maple Ridge Homeowners Association, queen of the cul-de-sac, and self-proclaimed defender of community standards. She marched toward me with that tight smile people wear when they're about to ruin your day. "Excuse me," she said. "You can't just post signs on community property." I told her, calm as I could, "Donna, this isn't community land. This is my land. Been in my family since before this neighborhood even existed." She laughed, this sharp, dry sound that made me feel about 2 feet tall, and said, "That's adorable, but this whole area was annexed into HOA territory decades ago." Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know how to read a deed. I told her I had the papers to prove it. She rolled her eyes and waved for a news crew that, apparently, had been filming some HOA story nearby. I swear, it was like she'd been waiting for an audience. And right there, on live TV, she accused me of vandalizing community property. Something about that word, vandalizing, lit me up inside. My granddad used to say, "Never let bureaucrats steal what you've earned." He was an old surveyor, proud man, stubborn as a mule. So I stood my ground. I held up the deed, yellowed with age, stamped and signed by the county in 1964. I said, "Ma'am, unless the definition of ownership has changed since then, this tree, and the land under it, belongs to the Dalton family." Her smile cracked. For a split second, I saw doubt flash across her face before she snapped back with, "That document is clearly fake." Cameras zoomed in, neighbors came out, phones went up. It turned into a circus. That night, I got a certified letter on fancy paper with the HOA logo at the top, big bold letters, cease and desist. They wanted me to stop claiming ownership, pay a fine, and refrain from fraudulent activity. I laughed, then called my sister Emily, who happens to be a lawyer. She didn't laugh. "Mark," she said, "this fight might not be worth it." That hit hard. Emily's always been the fighter. So hearing hesitation in her voice felt wrong. She said she'd look into the county records anyway. When she called me back, her tone had changed. "There are 2 surveys filed for your land," she said. "One from 1964 and one from 1986. And both are listed as valid." Now, I might not know much about the law, but I know enough to realize you can't have 2 truths. One of them had to be a lie. That night, my neighbor Frank, an old friend of my granddad's, came by with a 6-pack and this heavy look in his eyes. "Your granddad never trusted that 86 survey," he told me. "Said someone was messing with the county records." He leaned in close, voice low. He hid the original boundary markers before he died. Said one day, someone would try to take what was his. I didn't sleep that night. I went digging literally. By sunrise, I'd found a rusted brass pin buried near the oak tree, stamped with my granddad's initials and the year 1964. Then another by the creek, and another behind the fence line. 7 in total. They matched the coordinates on the original deed exactly. I felt this rush of vindication, like I was holding a secret piece of history. But that feeling didn't last long. Because by the next afternoon, HOA patrol cars were circling my property like buzzards. Donna had cameras installed facing my yard. And I started getting notes, anonymous ones, taped to my mailbox. "Stop causing trouble. You're not welcome here." Then came the real gut punch. Emily called again, her voice shaking. "Mark, I need to tell you something. Donna found out about my malpractice insurance lapse. She blackmailed me into sharing what I knew about your case." Silence. I couldn't even process it. My own sister, the only lawyer I trusted, had handed my strategy to the woman trying to bury me. Next morning, Donna showed up with a lawyer named Cynthia Vale, smug as hell, waving official documents claiming my granddad had died before he completed his 1964 survey, making every marker and deed invalid. It was a lie so big I couldn't breathe. I told them I'd seen my granddad finish that survey with my own eyes. I was 10 years old, holding the measuring rod while he drew those lines. But it didn't matter. They had fake paperwork and a narrative, and I was just one man yelling into the wind. Until Frank showed up again, gray-faced and trembling, carrying a cardboard box that looked older than both of us. "He made me keep this," Frank said. "Said you'd know when the time was right." Inside were city council minutes, financial records, even handwritten notes from 1986. Turns out, the county had been near bankruptcy back then, and they'd quietly redrawn property lines to reclaim private land for development money. My family's land had been the golden ticket. Donna's subdivision, built right on top of it. I took that box straight to a civil rights attorney named Maria Cortez. Sharp, fearless, and furious. She said, "Mark, this isn't just a property dispute. This is government corruption." And suddenly, the game changed. We filed federal motions, subpoenaed records, dragged every dirty secret into the light. Frank testified, voice shaking but strong. "We told ourselves it was for the greater good," he said. "But theft's still theft." Donna's smile finally cracked for good when the judge read the verdict. "This court finds that the plaintiff, Mark Dalton, is the rightful owner of all land described in the 1964 survey." Jefferson County was ordered to pay damages, and Donna's law license was suspended pending fraud investigation. You'd think victory would feel sweet. It didn't. I watched neighbors crying on the courthouse steps, scared of losing their homes. They'd been lied to just like I had. So I did the only thing that felt right. I offered them leases. Fair ones. They could stay. Donna wasn't so lucky. Her empire crumbled overnight. 1 week later, I watched movers haul her stuff out while federal agents waited by the curb. The irony hit me hard. The same woman who'd screamed, "Get off my property," was now the one being escorted off it. Emily came clean to the Bar Association, took a suspension, and then joined me in setting up the Dalton Family Legal Fund to help others fight property fraud. Frank spent his remaining years volunteering at the local legal aid office. Said he finally felt at peace. And that oak tree, yeah, it's still standing. We made it a public park, with a little plaque that reads, "Truth takes root here." Sometimes, when I sit under it, I think about how close I came to walking away, how easy it would have been to sign that paper, pay that fine, and let them win. But if I had, no one would have ever known how deep the rot went. See, my granddad didn't just pass down land, he passed down a principle. That ownership isn't about dirt and fences, it's about standing up when someone powerful decides to rewrite the truth. People ask if I regret it, the years of stress, the hate mail, the sleepless nights. I don't, because I learned something bigger than property lines. I learned that justice isn't given. It's taken back, inch by inch, by the people willing to dig for it. So yeah, maybe I'm just a stubborn man with a shovel and a story. But I'll tell you this, when the dust settled and the last moving truck pulled away, the whole neighborhood looked different. Not because the houses changed, but because the truth finally had space to breathe again. And every time I walk past that oak, I swear I can hear my granddad whisper, "Told you so." Now tell me, what would you have done? Would you have fought the system for what's right, or just walked away? Drop your thoughts below, because I have a feeling this debate's far from over.